The alien ship glided silently through the thin clouds of Earth's atmosphere, its metallic surface gleaming under the sun. The explorers inside were confident. They had survived the swarms of Zelthar on Vornax, navigated the floating crystal forests of Yelthar, and even endured the deadly storms of Corin Prime. Earth, with its so-called monsters, would be just another challenge. Captain Zynar leaned over the viewport, scanning the vast blue and green planet. "Sensors indicate minimal hostility," he said. "Only low-level fauna. Nothing that should challenge us." His voice carried a tone of superiority. Beside him, Lieutenant Crix glanced at the readings. "I detect strange energy patterns from the surface, but they appear unthreatening." Zynar waved his hand dismissively. "Unthreatening or not, our protocol remains the same. Prepare for ground inspection. We cannot allow surprises." The ship touched down softly in a clearing surrounded by dense forests. The humans, surprisingly, were already waiting. They didn't hide, nor did they show fear. Children ran in playful circles while adults tended to small gardens or carried baskets. Their casual manner was almost disrespectful, at least to Zynar, who had expected tremors of fear. A human stepped forward, tall and lean, with a calm smile. His dark eyes seemed to look straight into Zynar's thoughts. "Welcome to Earth," he said simply. "I'm Aaron. You came a long way." Zynar narrowed his eyes. "Do you know what you're facing? Do you know the monsters of your planet?" Aaron chuckled lightly. "Monsters? We know them well, but..." That was the tutorial. Zynar froze for a moment. The human's words were puzzling. Tutorial? Was this some form of mockery? Crix whispered, "Captain." "They seem unafraid." "Too calm." "Silence," Zynar commanded. He motioned for his team to disembark. Their armored boots hit the soft earth, and small clouds of dust rose with each step. They expected immediate resistance from the environment. Predators, poisonous plants, or at least some kind of trap. Nothing happened. Aaron waved toward a nearby clearing. "Follow me. You'll see." The aliens hesitated, then complied. Their instincts screamed caution, yet there was nothing threatening. Birds chirped. A soft wind rustled the trees, and tiny creatures scurried across the grass. Suddenly, a massive shadow fell over the clearing. The aliens tensed. A huge beast, easily the size of a small building, emerged from the forest. Its scales glimmered like molten metal, and its eyes glowed faintly in the sunlight. The explorers' training kicked in immediately. They raised shields, readied weapons, and braced for attack. Aaron didn't move. Instead, he studied the creature carefully, his smile never fading. He crouched and observed its movement, watching how it sniffed the air and tested the ground with its massive claws. The aliens watched in disbelief as the humans calmly interacted with the creature. One human child stepped forward, holding a simple wooden staff. She tapped it gently on the ground, creating a small rhythm. The massive beast paused, tilted its head, and slowly moved back into the forest without attacking. Zynar's jaw tightened. That should have provoked it. It should have attacked. Aaron shrugged. It didn't need to. We understand them. We respect them, Crix whispered. "Captain, they're controlling it without weapons." Zynar felt a surge of disbelief. Humans, ordinary humans, were surviving in a world of monsters without even fighting. It defied every expectation. As they walked deeper into the settlement, the aliens noticed more surprises. A small creek blocked their path, but instead of building bridges or using machines, the humans wove long vines into a simple but strong bridge in moments. The aliens had sensors and advanced tools for such tasks, yet here, humans accomplished it with ease and creativity. In the center of the village, humans gathered to share food and laughter. Their society was simple but efficient. Gardens flourished without heavy machinery. Houses blended into the landscape. And despite their simplicity, humans moved with confidence and purpose. Zynar turned to his team. "This is impossible. No civilization can thrive here without advanced technology. They shouldn't survive," Aaron overheard and smiled. "Survive? Survival is only the first step. Adaptation is the real skill." The aliens exchanged uneasy glances. They were trained to conquer, to overcome, to dominate. Yet these humans seemed to master the environment without conflict. The lesson continued throughout the day. The aliens observed humans interacting with Earth's wildlife, handling sudden storms and navigating rugged terrain, all without panic, all without struggle. It was as if humans had an instinctive understanding of the world around them. Crix finally asked the question Zynar feared to voice. "Captain, are they stronger than us?" Zynar shook his head. "It's not strength in the usual sense. They are clever, unpredictable, adaptive. They survive differently. That's what frightens me." Aaron approached the alien captain. "You came expecting monsters. You thought you would face fearsome challenges. What you see now is not your challenge, it's a warm-up. We call it the tutorial." Zynar's fingers tightened around his staff. "Tutorial? Explain yourself," Aaron grinned. "Everything you face here is something we've already learned to understand. Every storm, every creature, every hazard, it's a lesson. And lessons make you ready for what comes next." The alien lieutenant's eyes widened. "They treat danger as practice?" Aaron nodded. "Exactly. You learn by experiencing. You grow by facing the world head-on. And that is why humans survive where others fail." The alien team had come expecting Earth to be a proving ground, a planet where they could demonstrate their superiority. Yet now they realized the truth. They had underestimated humans entirely. The sun began to set, casting a warm orange glow over the settlement. Humans lit small fires, shared stories, and continued their calm routines. The aliens observed, confused and increasingly aware of their own limitations. Zynar clenched his jaw. "We came here thinking we would conquer. But what we face is something else entirely." Aaron leaned back, watching the alien team adjust their shields and weapons. "Don't worry. By the end, you'll understand. But for now, enjoy the tutorial." As night fell, the humans lit lanterns and gathered in the central square. The aliens were still wary, but for the first time, they felt a strange mix of awe and fear, not of weapons or monsters, but of human ingenuity, courage, and calmness in the face of danger. The world of Earth was alive, challenging, and unpredictable. Yet humans moved through it as if it were second nature, and the aliens realized, with growing unease, that what they thought was survival was only the first step. Humans had already mastered lessons the aliens hadn't even begun to understand. Somewhere in the forest, eyes glimmered. Creatures watched silently. Yet no attack came. Humans had already learned how to live alongside them, to anticipate and to adapt. The aliens, trained to dominate, found themselves observing instead, struggling to keep up. And in that quiet moment, Aaron whispered to his small team, smiling softly, "They think they've arrived. But the real game begins tomorrow." For the aliens, it was the beginning of a journey they hadn't expected. For humans, it was just another day, another lesson, another opportunity, another adventure. And the Earth, vast and unpredictable, waited patiently, ready to test all who dared to walk upon it. The morning sun spilled golden light across the Earth's settlement. Birds sang above, and the wind carried the scent of flowers and damp earth. For the aliens, it was another day of confusion. They had expected monsters, attacks, or at least some form of resistance. But humans moved with calm determination, as if the planet itself were their classroom. Captain Zynar gathered his team. "We must proceed carefully. Today we will test them," he said. His tone carried the weight of authority, yet a hint of unease lingered. "Observe, learn, and prepare. They may be clever, but they are still primitive." The aliens stepped into the open field near the edge of the settlement, where humans were already working. Farmers tended to their crops, engineers repaired simple water channels, and children ran, laughing as they played games that seemed to challenge both mind and body. Lieutenant Crix pointed to a small stream. Sensors indicate a dangerous current beneath. "Should we intervene?" Zynar shook his head. "Let them show us how they handle it." Aaron noticed the aliens approaching and waved. "Good morning? Ready for your first lesson?" Zynar's eyes narrowed. "Lesson? Explain yourself, human," Aaron smiled. "We learn by doing. Every challenge you face here is an opportunity to think, observe, and grow. Watch closely." From the forest, a group of creatures began to emerge, small, agile animals with sharp senses and unusual agility. The aliens tensed, assuming these were the monsters of Earth. They raised their shields, ready to strike. The humans, however, acted calmly. Aaron gestured toward a group of children. "Observe first. Understand the pattern. Only then act." The children scattered, carefully positioning themselves along the edge of the clearing. They made small noises, waved sticks, and created patterns that seemed almost like a game. The creatures paused, confused, and eventually retreated, avoiding confrontation entirely. Crix whispered, "They didn't fight. They didn't even threaten them." And yet the creatures left. Xenar's hands tightened on his staff. They manipulate behavior, not with weapons but with strategy. Fascinating and terrifying, Aaron nodded. Every creature has a mind, even if different from ours. We respect that. We don't dominate. We learn. The aliens followed the humans further into the settlement. At the edge of a rocky hill, they saw a larger challenge, a collapsed bridge over a deep ravine. For most civilizations, this would have been a dangerous barrier. The aliens expected humans to build complex machinery or struggle with lifting heavy stones. Instead, the humans began observing. They studied the rocks, the vines, and the currents below. Within minutes, a simple but sturdy structure appeared, a combination of natural ropes, rocks, and a clever balancing system that allowed even the youngest child to cross safely. Xenar frowned. Their tools are primitive yet effective. How do they think so quickly? Aaron approached. Humans solve problems by understanding them. You rely on brute force or technology. We rely on insight, creativity, and cooperation. The aliens were beginning to see a pattern. Humans treated danger not as a threat, but as an opportunity. Every hazard was a puzzle to solve, every creature a lesson to understand. Later, the aliens followed humans to a shallow valley where a strange plant had spread rapidly, its tendrils covering large areas of the ground. Sensors indicated it was mildly toxic to alien physiology. The aliens readied chemical neutralizers, expecting a dangerous encounter. Aaron stepped forward calmly. Watch and learn. There's no need for weapons. Using simple tools and careful movements, the humans studied the plant. They observed its growth patterns, the soil it favored, and the way it reacted to touch. Within an hour, they had carefully contained it using stones, sticks, and trenches, redirecting its growth without harming themselves or the plant. The aliens looked on in disbelief.
Containment?
Without destruction, Crix whispered. How is this possible? Aaron turned and smiled at them. Every challenge has a solution. Some solutions require force. Others require thought. We choose the latter whenever we can. Even the children participated. They moved lightly, placing small branches and stones with precision, laughing as if it were a game. Their actions were deliberate yet graceful. The aliens could not help but notice that humans taught their young to think critically from the earliest age. The lesson continued when a sudden storm rolled in. Dark clouds swirled above and gusts of wind threatened the simple homes of the settlement. The aliens braced themselves for chaos. They imagined destruction, floods, and panic. Instead, the humans acted efficiently. They reinforced structures with ropes and wood, dug small channels to redirect water, and helped each other calmly. Not a single person panicked. The children were guided to safe spots and the adults coordinated as if rehearsed. The aliens struggled to keep up. Their shields could protect against the wind, but they couldn't solve the problems that humans faced naturally. By the time the storm passed, the human settlement remained intact, while the aliens were exhausted from trying to anticipate every hazard. Crix finally admitted, "Captain, I don't understand. They do everything faster, better, and without fear." Xenar's jaw tightened. It is not speed. It is adaptability. They anticipate, they observe, and they act. They are different. As the storm cleared, Aaron approached Xenar again. Do you see now? You came expecting monsters. But survival isn't just about strength. It's about understanding, creativity, and cooperation. That is why humans endure. Xenar's eyes narrowed. And the tutorial? Aaron chuckled. You're still in it. The creatures, the storms, the hazards, they are only the beginning. True tests will come later. But for now, you observe, learn, and try to keep up. The aliens exchanged uneasy glances. They had assumed Earth would be an easy conquest, a simple demonstration of superiority. Instead, they were learning lessons from humans who had no advanced weapons, no enormous machines, no technological dominance. The humans' advantage was not in tools or brute force. It was in intelligence, teamwork, and adaptability. Every human acted with purpose, every decision balanced logic and creativity. Even the youngest children had roles in maintaining the community and solving problems. By the end of the day, the aliens had witnessed several small miracles. A child guiding a lost creature back to its nest, humans repairing a collapsed aqueduct with nothing more than stones and vines, and the containment of hazardous plants without harm. Crix finally whispered, almost in awe, "Captain, we came to teach, but we are the ones learning." Zynar didn't answer immediately. He observed a human woman gently redirecting a large animal that had wandered too close to the settlement. No fear, no aggression, just calm understanding and subtle guidance. Finally, Zynar spoke. "It is done settling. They survive not by fighting, but by thinking. Not by dominating, but by cooperating. Perhaps we have underestimated them entirely." Aaron noticed the change in the alien's demeanor. He smiled faintly and said, "Every challenge teaches something. Today you learned the first lesson. Earth's monsters are not what you think. Humans survive by seeing the world differently." As night fell, the humans lit small lanterns along pathways. The aliens were exhausted but still alert. They had expected chaos, danger, and fear, but had found calm, order, and ingenuity. Aaron gathered a small group of humans and whispered, "They are learning, slowly. But tomorrow, we will show them how humans truly handle danger." The aliens, meanwhile, returned to their ship silent and uneasy. Their sensors were advanced, their training rigorous, yet they could not predict, control, or dominate humans the way they had other species. The realization settled over them. Survival was only the first step. Humans had mastered observation, adaptation, and creativity in ways no alien could easily replicate. The night passed quietly. From the forests and hills, creatures watched the settlement, unthreatened. Humans slept, ready for the next day, confident in their skills and understanding of the world. The aliens, however, could not sleep as easily. They had expected to be the teachers, but they were becoming the students. And somewhere deep in the village, Aaron grinned. "Tomorrow," he whispered, "we begin the real lessons. They think they have seen it all, but they have only seen the tutorial." The morning sun broke over the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. Birds sang and insects buzzed. The aliens, however, felt a tension in the air that had nothing to do with the calm landscape. After yesterday's tutorial, they had begun to understand that humans were not ordinary beings. Captain Zynar scanned the horizon with unease. "Today we will test them more rigorously," he said. "We will introduce controlled hazards and observe how they respond." Their previous success may have been luck. Lieutenant Crix frowned. "Luck does not account for skill, Captain. They seem instinctive, adaptive." Zynar ignored him. "Prepare for observation. No interference yet." Meanwhile, the humans were already moving with purpose. Aaron gathered a small team near the edge of the forest.
"Today they will see more," he said with a calm smile.
"Not because we want to prove anything, but because every challenge is a lesson, for them and for us." From the forest, a series of creatures emerged. Unlike the smaller, timid animals from yesterday, these were larger, more intelligent, and coordinated. They moved quickly, their eyes sharp and their senses alert. The aliens braced themselves. Weapons ready, shields up. They expected the humans to panic or attack. But the humans did neither, Aaron observed carefully. He pointed to a clearing and gestured toward the creatures. Notice their patterns. Predict their moves. Influence them without force. The aliens watched in disbelief as humans began to interact with the creatures. They did not strike, threaten, or provoke. Instead, they moved deliberately, communicating subtly with gestures and sounds. A young girl stepped forward carrying a small bundle of herbs. She scattered them carefully along the creature's path. The creatures paused, sniffed, and adjusted their course to avoid the humans entirely. Zynar whispered, "They manipulate behavior. Without technology, without weapons." Aaron smiled. "Observation, prediction, adaptation. That is how humans survive." The aliens moved further into the settlement. They expected to see chaos, struggle, or fear, but found calm coordination instead. Adults organized resources, children carried messages, and the elderly advised and guided. Every action had purpose. Lieutenant Crix muttered, "They are not just surviving. They are thriving, and they do it so effortlessly." The humans then approached a shallow valley where the ground was unstable, and a small earthquake tremor had loosened rocks and soil. Aliens expected immediate panic, perhaps injury. Instead, humans worked together. They used fallen logs to create support, tied vines to stabilize paths, and guided each other carefully. The young helped the old guided the young. Every human seemed to know their role instinctively. Zynar's eyes narrowed. They think differently. They solve problems instead of fighting them. Their society is efficient, adaptive, and cooperative. This is dangerous for us to underestimate. Aaron noticed the aliens' concern and whispered to his team, "They are learning. Let them observe, let them struggle. Every moment counts." Suddenly, from the deeper forest, a much larger predator appeared. Its scales shimmered with an unusual glow, and its eyes were sharp and intelligent. The aliens stiffened. They had anticipated confrontation, but humans had not flinched. Aaron studied the creature for a moment. He gestured to the humans nearby. "Observe first, then respond." Unlike the aliens, humans did not raise weapons. They studied the predator, noting its behavior, its reactions, and its movements. The child who had guided the smaller creatures yesterday now approached with a calm curiosity, observing patterns in its motion. One human adult gently used a reflective surface to catch the sunlight and direct it near the predator, causing it to pause and investigate. The aliens watched in disbelief. No weapon, no attack, just strategy. The predator, after several careful movements, changed course and retreated back into the forest, leaving the humans unharmed. Crix whispered, They predicted its behavior, guided it, without violence." Zynar's jaw tightened. "Humans do not fear. Humans do not react with instinctive aggression. They think, adapt, and solve. We cannot underestimate them anymore." Aaron smiled faintly. "Every danger is an opportunity to understand. Humans thrive because they treat challenges as lessons, not as threats." The aliens continued observing. Humans coordinated tasks across the settlement. They repaired damaged structures, redirected small streams, and even managed to calm frightened animals, all with quiet efficiency. Zynar could not stop noticing one pattern. Humans were patient, deliberate, and thoughtful. Where aliens relied on brute strength and technology, humans relied on observation, intuition, and cooperation. Every failure, every challenge became a learning opportunity. By midday, the aliens had witnessed a series of remarkable events. Humans had repaired bridges and structures without machinery, contained hazards without harming the environment, guided large creatures safely without weapons, coordinated complex tasks across the settlement with precision. The aliens began to feel something unfamiliar, admiration and unease. Their assumptions of superiority were crumbling. Aaron gathered the humans in the central square. "You have seen them try to control us with force and technology," he said softly. "Now you see how humans respond. Observation first, strategy second, action third. Strength is not always physical. It is understanding, adaptation, and teamwork." The aliens remained silent. They had expected confrontation, fear, and struggle. Instead, they found calm, skill, and intelligence in every human action. As the sun began to set, humans lit lanterns along the paths and prepared for night. Some prepared meals, some finished repairs, and some simply observed the stars above. The aliens, exhausted from trying to anticipate every hazard, watched in quiet reflection. Crix finally spoke. "Captain, I think we have underestimated them entirely. They do not just survive, they thrive, and they do it without the weapons or technology we rely on." Zynar nodded slowly. "They have mastered adaptation, teamwork, and ingenuity. And they have taught themselves from every challenge. We are unprepared for this." Aaron approached the alien captain and said, "Tomorrow the challenges will increase. You will see not only survival but strategy, creativity, and human ingenuity at work. Do not think of humans as simple. Think of them as teachers of the impossible." The aliens returned to their observation post, silent and thoughtful. They had come expecting Earth to be an easy conquest. Instead, they had been challenged at every step, not by weapons or monsters, but by humans' understanding of the world, their cleverness, and their cooperation. As night fell, Earth was calm, peaceful, and alive. Humans slept, ready for the next day, confident in their skills and their knowledge of the world around them. The aliens, however, struggled to rest. They had learned a valuable lesson. Humans do not just face challenges, they transform them into opportunities. Somewhere in the forest, eyes glimmered, observing silently. The predators of Earth, intelligent and cautious, waited and watched. But the humans had learned how to move alongside them, predict their actions, and adapt to their behavior. The aliens realized that brute force could not overcome this. Understanding, Insight and creativity were far stronger than they had imagined. Aaron whispered to his team, "They are learning, but slowly. Tomorrow we will show them even more. They believe they understand Earth, but they have only seen the beginning. The real test is coming and humans are ready." For the aliens, this was a turning point. They had assumed superiority, expected to lead and planned to control. Instead, they were now students, learning from humans, realizing that survival was not the only measure of skill. Humans taught not by dominance but by insight, observation, and adaptation. And for humans it was just another day, another lesson, another challenge to understand, overcome, and grow from. The tutorial continued, and the aliens, no longer confident, could only watch and learn. The next morning dawned clear and bright, the sunlight glinting off dew-covered leaves. The aliens had barely slept. Their minds were restless, filled with calculations and predictions, but every time they thought they had humans figured out, the humans acted in ways that defied expectation. Captain Zynar stood at the edge of the settlement, scanning the surroundings with unease. "We must understand their methods," he said. "Yesterday's lesson was unsettling. Today we increase the difficulty. Observe and take note." Lieutenant Crix shook his head. "Observation alone will not be enough. They adapt faster than our simulations, faster than any logic we know." Zynar frowned. "We must try." Meanwhile, Aaron gathered a group of humans at the central square. "They are watching closely," he said, smiling faintly. "Today we will show them not only survival, but strategy and cooperation at their best. Let them learn what humans can truly do." From the distant forest, a series of unusual events began to unfold. A strange storm approached, unusual even by Earth standards. Strong winds, sudden rain, and shifting clouds threatened the settlement. The aliens immediately readied protective shields, assuming humans would struggle. Aaron gestured to the humans. "Observe first. Understand the storm. Then act." The humans moved efficiently. Some reinforced shelters using ropes and vines, securing them against the wind. Others dug small channels to redirect water away from homes and paths. Children helped by carrying small supplies, guided by adults who directed them carefully. Zynar watched in amazement. They are coordinating without chaos, without fear. "Every movement is deliberate," Crix muttered. "They anticipate the storm. They do not merely react, they plan." Even the children participated in problem-solving. A boy no older than 10 noticed that water was pooling near a fragile bridge. He quickly used stones and mud to strengthen it, preventing a collapse before it could happen. The adults praised him quietly, integrating his solution into the overall plan. From the alien perspective, this was incomprehensible. Their technology could predict and counter natural hazards, but humans were doing it instinctively, with simple tools and careful observation. Once the storm passed, a new challenge emerged. A massive herd of creatures moved toward the settlement. These were larger than anything the aliens had seen, with thick hides and sharp horns. Sensors indicated potential danger to the humans. The aliens braced themselves. They expected panic, defensive action, or chaotic attempts to repel the herd. Instead, humans calmly approached the situation. Aaron studied the herd carefully. "Notice their behavior," he said. "Do not fight. Guide them." Adults formed a coordinated line using long poles and sound cues to influence the herd's direction. Children positioned themselves on the outskirts to prevent stragglers from wandering into the village. The herd, curious and cautious, moved along the designated path without aggression. Zynar whispered in disbelief. "They guide creatures without weapons. They control behavior not through force but through understanding." Crick shook his head. "It's genius. Their teamwork, their insight. It's unlike anything we have encountered." The aliens followed as humans continued to manage challenges. A nearby ravine had collapsed due to recent rains, cutting off a critical path. Humans quickly assessed the area. Using logs, rocks, and rope, they created a temporary bridge that allowed even the elderly to cross safely. The aliens' technology could have done the same, but humans did it faster, with fewer resources and without damaging the environment. Aaron smiled. "Observe closely. The advantage humans have is not strength, nor weapons, nor technology. It is understanding, adaptation, and cooperation. That is why we survive and thrive where others fail." Zynar, watching silently, could not hide his growing respect. "They are efficient in every action. They predict, adapt, and execute. No alien force we have encountered has ever done this, Crix added quietly. And every member of the group participates. Even the youngest contribute meaningfully. There is no wasted effort, no panic, no fear-driven mistakes. As the day progressed, the humans faced a new challenge. A sudden landslide threatened a section of the settlement. Boulders blocked pathways and destroyed small structures. Aliens prepared emergency interventions, assuming humans would be helpless. Instead, humans assessed the situation quickly. They guided each other safely, redirected loose rocks, and repaired damaged areas with simple but effective solutions. Children helped by carrying small supplies. Elders coordinated, and adults used ropes, poles, and natural materials to stabilize dangerous sections. Zynar's eyes widened. They convert chaos into order. Predict, adapt, and act. This is beyond survival, it is mastery. Aaron approached the alien captain once more. Do you see now? Humans do not face danger with aggression or fear. They face it with understanding, planning, and teamwork. That is their advantage. Zynar nodded slowly. I understand, but I cannot replicate it. Our technology and training cannot match this intuition, this coordination, this calm efficiency. Crix looked around the settlement. They treat challenges as lessons, Captain. Every obstacle is an opportunity to learn and improve, and they teach their young the same philosophy. It is remarkable. As evening approached, the humans gathered in the central square once again. Fires burned softly. Lanterns lit paths, and laughter filled the air. The aliens, observing from a distance, felt a mixture of awe and unease. Aaron whispered to his team, "They are learning slowly. Tomorrow we will increase the difficulty further. They will see that humans do not just survive challenges. They transform them into opportunities. Strength lies in understanding, adaptability, and teamwork." A sudden movement in the nearby forest caught the aliens' attention. A group of intelligent predators appeared, curious about the humans' activities. The aliens expected panic, weapons, and chaos. Instead, humans calmly observed. They studied the creatures' movements, noted their reactions, and guided them away from the settlement without aggression. The predators complied, moving peacefully and without harm. Zynar whispered, "Even with intelligent, dangerous creatures, they control the situation without violence. Their advantage is not power. It is insight." Crix nodded slowly. "And they integrate every member into the process. From the youngest child to the eldest adult, everyone contributes. Their society is efficient, adaptive, and cooperative. We underestimated them. Badly." The night grew calm, and humans prepared for rest. The aliens returned to their observation posts, exhausted but thoughtful. They had expected Earth to be a place of chaos and danger, but instead they had seen calm, skill, and intelligence at work at every turn. Aaron looked at the stars above and whispered, "Tomorrow, we will show them even more. They think they have seen humans at their best, but they have only seen part of it. The real lessons are coming." The aliens, for the first time, were beginning to understand the depth of human ability. Survival was only the first step. Humans had mastered adaptation, strategy, cooperation, and creativity. Every challenge became an opportunity, every hazard a lesson, and for humans it was simply another day. Another chance to understand, adapt, and grow. Earth remained their classroom, and they were the masters of learning within it. The sun rose slowly over the settlement, casting warm light on the fields, houses, and forests. Birds sang their morning songs, and the gentle breeze carried the scent of earth and flowers. For the aliens, it was another day of observation, but this day felt different. Captain Zynar stood at the edge of the village, looking toward the humans with a mixture of anticipation and unease. "Today," he said quietly to Lieutenant Crix, "we will see if they can handle the ultimate challenge. If they fail, we will know the limits of their survival." Crix nodded, though he felt doubt in his voice. "I am beginning to think they have no limits, Captain. They anticipate, adapt, and cooperate at a level beyond our understanding." Meanwhile, Aaron gathered the humans in the central square. His calm expression was reassuring. "Today," he said softly, "they will see what humans can truly do. But remember, this is not about showing off. Every challenge is an opportunity to learn, for them and for us." From the surrounding forests, a rumble began. At first it was faint, almost like distant thunder. Then the ground trembled and the sound grew louder. A massive hazard approached. A wide-scale landslide triggered by recent rains and unusual weather. Trees toppled, rocks tumbled, and the natural flow of rivers shifted unpredictably. The aliens froze. Their sensors screamed danger, calculating impossible outcomes for the humans. They prepared weapons, shields, and emergency equipment, expecting chaos, panic, and failure. The humans, however, did not flinch. They observed carefully, noting the movement of rocks, the flow of water, and the best paths to protect their homes and each other. Aaron gave calm instructions. Divide into teams. Assess the threats. Protect everyone and guide the hazards where they cannot harm life or property. Adults coordinated teams with precision. They used ropes, logs, and carefully planned barriers to redirect falling debris. Children assisted by carrying small but important supplies. Elder humans gave advice and guidance, ensuring that every decision was effective and safe. Zynar's jaw tightened. They are managing a massive natural hazard, without panic, without fear, without reliance on technology. It is astonishing. Crick shook his head in disbelief. They are not merely surviving, they are controlling the situation. And every member contributes. Every move is thoughtful, deliberate, and coordinated. As the landslide rumbled closer, a group of intelligent predators emerged from the forest, curious and potentially dangerous. The aliens expected the humans to panic, react aggressively, or fail. Instead, humans calmly observed the predators, studying their behavior. Adults guided them using gentle gestures and sounds, leading them safely away from danger. Children helped by providing small pathways and signals, ensuring that no creature was harmed. The predators complied, moving carefully and peacefully. Aaron watched silently, then whispered to his small team, "Observe their actions. Notice how humans turn challenges into lessons. Survival is only the beginning. Understanding, adaptation, and cooperation are the true strengths." The aliens could not hide their astonishment. They had expected chaos, fear, and helplessness. Instead, they found intelligence, strategy, and calm efficiency at every turn. Zynar finally spoke aloud, voice tinged with respect. "They are not ordinary. They do not just react, they think, adapt, and solve. Their strength is in their mind, their teamwork, and their understanding. This is extraordinary." As the landslide began to affect the settlement more directly, humans acted with incredible speed and precision. They used fallen trees and rocks to redirect debris, reinforced bridges, and guided villagers to safety. The aliens were forced to observe helplessly. Their advanced technology could not keep pace with the humans' instinctive coordination and problem-solving. Crix muttered, "Every obstacle becomes a lesson for them. They do not fight the problem, they understand it, adapt to it, and solve it. Their method is far superior to brute force." By midday, the landslide had passed, leaving minimal damage. The humans had protected their homes, the animals, and even the environment itself. The aliens were exhausted, their calculations useless, their confidence shaken. Aaron gathered the humans once more. "Do you see now?" he asked quietly, smiling. They thought humans were simple, untrained, and vulnerable. But humans survive by learning, by cooperating, by understanding the world around them. Strength is not always measured by force, it is measured by intelligence, creativity, and teamwork. Zynar nodded slowly. "I understand now. They do not merely survive Earth's dangers, they master them. And they teach their young to do the same. Every generation becomes stronger, wiser, and more capable." Crix added softly. "They turn every challenge into growth. Every obstacle is an opportunity. This is humanity's advantage." From the forest, other creatures watched in silence. Even intelligent predators seemed to recognize that these humans were different, calm, strategic, and confident. Humans had learned not to dominate, not to destroy, but to observe, adapt, and act wisely. Aaron approached the alien captain directly. "You came expecting monsters, weapons, and fear. What you found instead was understanding, patience, and cooperation. This is why humans endure. This is why we thrive where others fail." Zynar lowered his staff and finally smiled, though it was a smile of respect and acknowledgement rather than confidence. "I underestimated you. All of you. Earth is not a planet to conquer. It is a classroom, and humans are the teachers." Crix nodded, still in awe. "We have much to learn. Their ingenuity, strategy, and calm efficiency surpass anything we have encountered." The humans began helping aliens understand their methods, simple techniques, Careful observation and teamwork allowed the aliens to see how humans solved problems. Slowly, Zinar and his team began to recognize that what they had assumed was primitive was, in fact, extraordinary. By evening, the settlement was calm. Humans had repaired the minor damages, guided all creatures to safety, and ensured that every person was accounted for. Fires burned softly in the central square. Lanterns lit the paths, and the smell of cooked food filled the air. Aaron watched from a hilltop, gazing at the aliens. "They have learned much today," he whispered to his small team. "But the real lesson is this: humans do not fear challenges. They understand, adapt, and grow stronger because of them. That is their true strength." Zinar stood beside him, looking at the humans. "I see it now. Their resilience, intelligence, and cooperation. It is unlike anything we have known. Survival was only the beginning. Humans master the world around them," Crix added quietly. "And they share that mastery with everyone. Every child, every elder, every member contributes. Their society is not just surviving, it is thriving." Aaron smiled faintly. "Yes, that is why they endure. That is why they flourish. And that is why no matter what challenge comes next, humans will always rise to meet it." From the forest, a soft rustling indicated that other creatures were watching. Even the predators seemed aware of humanity's unique strength. Humans had proven that domination was unnecessary. Understanding, cooperation, and intelligence were far stronger. The night grew quiet and the stars shone above. Humans slept peacefully, prepared for whatever challenges the next day might bring. The aliens, however, remained awake, thinking, calculating, and learning. They had come expecting to teach, to lead, and to conquer. Instead, they had learned humility, respect, and the extraordinary abilities of humanity. Aaron turned to his team and whispered, "The tutorial is over. They understand now that humans are not to be underestimated. Tomorrow and every day after, we will continue to teach through action. But today they have learned what humans are capable of." The aliens, humbled and inspired, finally understood the truth. Earth's monsters were not the greatest challenge. The greatest challenge and greatest teacher was humanity itself. Zinar looked at the humans, a mixture of awe and admiration in his eyes. "They have survived monsters we feared, weathered hazards we calculated, and solved problems beyond our expectation. Yet they smile, they cooperate, and they grow stronger every day. Truly, they are extraordinary." And in the quiet of the night, under the stars and soft glow of lanterns, the humans rested peacefully, ready for the next day, ready for any challenge, confident in their abilities and unaware of the awe they inspired in the alien observers. Humanity had not only survived, it had taught, inspired, and shown the aliens the meaning of true strength.